welcome back to another episode of What If UA High was in the Marvel Universe. And today, I got something special for us. I actually have Jet the Prophet joining us for this very episode. Say hey, Jet.
Howdy, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, so Jet's a great and fantastic YouTuber. If you've never seen him, I actually going to have a link up top as well as a link down below in the description. So make sure you go check out his channel, right after this. With that being said, let's do this. So, Jet, what I've been thinking about was the teacher Midnight. What do you think would be a good origin story for her?
All right, so I had Midnight kind of following the path of not Scarlet Witch, of Black Widow. So with
Dude,
her
I
movie
always
coming
get
out
those two
pretty
mixed
soon.
up. I always get those two mixed up because of Scarlett Johansson's name, but then Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, it's just it's so confusing now. But so Midnight grew up within the Red Room, along with Natasha, where she was trained to be an assassin. So with Midnight, they figured out that she also had her DNA also matched up for a new experiment they were doing. So within the Red Room, they were wanting jobs to be done swiftly. So they were coming up with gadgets. The best thing that they found was installing a type of sleeping power within one of their assassins. So Midnight's DNA matched up with how the formula for that power worked. They gave her the power to sleep people, and usually she would be sent into the mission first, undo her glove, put the whole room to sleep, and then the rest of the assassins can do their jobs. Well, after about 10 years of this, Midnight got tired of it, and she ran away and escaped to the US because the Red Room is within Russia. She escaped to the US, and being within the US, she's had all this freedom, so she's became a very she is an anime, but she's still like a good person at heart. So she wanted to do more with her life. So she decided to become a teacher at UA. Sorry if that was all like jumbled up. What do you think about it?
Yeah. No, not bad at all. So for me, I was thinking about her quirk, and her quirk kind of reminds me of the legend of a succubus. So I like the idea that Midnight actually has a supernatural origin, similar to Ghost Rider. I like the idea that she was engaged, but before, end up actually getting married, her and her fiance were killed, maybe just by a group of thugs, I don't know, but they ended up being killed. Well, she makes this deal with the devil to be able to have revenge, and even though her fiance is gone, she took justice into her own hands and hunted down the ones who originally killed her and, her love. So she ends up using this new power of being able to put people to sleep to incapacitate them. And then she makes this whip and she uses that to actually kill them. Then from there, I would even say that she's kind of becomes known as a villain. And then she's kind of teetering on the side of, what's justice, what's not. And I even like the idea of playing with, what if she kind of has this off and on romance with Daredevil. From that kind of off and on romance, as time goes on, he kind of wins her to the side of, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill people. Maybe we should just try to, help people out, not just murder them for the sake of revenge. And she ends up joining UA to, kind of help shape young minds so they don't go down the same path that maybe she did at an earlier time.
All right, I like that actually. That was pretty crazy.
Hey, what do you think about Hagakure? What do you think would be a good origin story for her?
Ooh, so I'm not gonna lie to you, mine's gonna be complete garbage. This is a bit in the future. I'm not sure if you've already introduced him yet, but there's gonna be Miles Morales. We're gonna introduce him, and he has the ability to, camouflage. So they wanted to take that natural power and be able to implement it into kids. And they tried it with Hagakure, but they forgot to add in the part where she can turn it off. So now she's permanently invisible.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So for me, I feel like mine's not as good as yours, but we'll try it. One day, she was just cleaning. She's just a normal girl, nothing different, and she's using different chemicals, and she ends up getting some bleach on her. And randomly, her skin starts to disappear. Of course, she's freaking out. Her family's freaking out. They take her to the doctors, even though they can't really see her. They find out that there's this allergic reaction to bleach, and then you're like, well, That's not normal. There's no normal human being that has an allergic reaction to bleach in that kind of way. Well, come to find out, she had a dormant mutant gene inside her that actually reacted to the bleach and therefore caused this allergy to happen. And so now she's always invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is better. Yours is better. Let's
no.
just be honest. Yours was cooler. Moving on. Kirishima, what'd you come up with him?
Oh, you had Kirishima. It says Kaminari on here, but
No!
we can do Kirishima.
Did I really give you the wrong one? Uh-oh.
It's fine.
Why don't you do Kaminari and then I'll do Kirishima?
All right. This one's going to be kind of simple. Kaminari was walking down the street one day, and it was a thunderstorm, and he got struck by lightning, but it turned out that, he didn't die from it. Later on that day, he was interacting with his game console, and he just ended up, just shutting down his whole house. He was thinking like, oh, cool, I have electro powers. The next day he tries to use them. Turns out that he can't use them. He goes to Thor. He's like, hey, I had electric powers one day and I don't have them now. What's wrong? Since Thor, has electric or is based off lightning.
Right.
Thor, after training with Kaminari, is like, I don't know what's wrong with you. Where did you first discover your powers? Kaminari's like, well, I was walking down the thunderstorm, and Thor cuts him off right there, like, was this 2 days ago? Kaminari's like, yes. Like, that's my bad. I accidentally hit you with lightning. But this lightning, you should still be able to use it. Thor hits him with lightning again, seeing if he can get Kaminari's powers to activate, and lucky enough, Kaminari's powers come back. So, after a while, Kaminari's not able to use his electricity. So they go to Reed Richards, and Reed Richards scans Kaminari and finds out that he doesn't have an electro power quirk, but he has the power to absorb and redistribute any type of lightning. That's basically the best to come up with.
No, that works. I mean, obviously, I didn't come prepared because I thought I said Kirishima and must have messed that up. But we'll move on to Kirishima. This is what I came up with. I like the idea that the government was trying to replicate the super soldier serum, once again, because it seems like they've tried to do that many, many times. Mm-hmm. And their thought was to test it on orphan children, people that their parents wouldn't be able to object. Why? Because they had no parents. And so they find Kirishima in the gutter of just some city, and, they kind of promised him the world, said, hey, man, we'll take you in, we'll take care of you, you're gonna have the best life ever. But soon he would find out that they were going to experiment on it. And, after much trial and error, his hardening ability came from all these different tries at a super soldier serum. Finally, Kirishima decides that, he's had enough. And he ends up breaking out. Thunderbolt Ross, which is the guy who's always trying to take on the Hulk, he hires the vigilante known as the Punisher to hunt him down and bring him back either dead or alive. But the problem was that Kirishima is kind of immune to just about all of, Punisher's firepower. But in the end, it's the Punisher's pure skill that gets him back to the general. And it was only a few months after that, and I don't know if you remember the first episode, I talked about that UA was going to happen after Civil War. And so it was just a few months after getting Kirishima back, the Civil War happens, and then, of course, UA ends up being open. And there the government releases him and lets him go to UA and be a free person once again.
All right. As you were talking, I came up with an idea. What if Kirishima was the offspring of Emma Frost and Luke Cage? Since they both have, Emma Frost is able to harden her skin to like a diamond, and then Luke Cage has impenetrable skin. So Kirishima can also have the hardening, but he doesn't change color. So that's because of Luke Cage. Luke Cage doesn't change color. He just has, his skin is just impenetrable. So that's why he's able to harden himself, but his skin color doesn't change.
That's super cool. I like that. And that does lead us right to our last one, Todoroki. Tell me, what did you come up with for Todoroki?
So, I don't know if you're going to do this guy for the next episode, but I'm going to bring Endeavor into this. Endeavor is a hero. I'm not going to explain his origin. I'm going to leave that to you. But Endeavor is a hero with firepower, as we all know. And he's fighting Hydro Man one day. And he figures out, Endeavor is one of the most highly praised heroes. He's praised around the world. But he's almost invincible. He can take on anyone. But he fights a villain that he can't take on. And then he ends up getting help from other Avengers. Ever since that day, Endeavor has never let it go that he hasn't been able to do everything, to be the most unstoppable hero known to man, to be the hero that can do anything. So he knew that his power was extremely powerful. His fire was
Mhm.
extremely powerful. So he sucked out a little girl, a very unknown character from like Earth TRN012 named Luna Snow. She goes by Luna Snow.
Huh.
Her power is that she has ice powers, but she has black ice that does damage and light ice that can heal people. So
Hmm.
Endeavor meets up with her, and they end up having a kid named Justin. No, I'm just saying his name is actually Shoto Todoroki,
Okay.
and
I was like, where are you going with this?
but he has the powers of Endeavor's firepower, and he also has ice power. But he also has the power to heal people with his ice and to also do damage with it.
That's cool. Well, I was not going to put Endeavor in this, so mine's a little bit different. So what I was thinking was more of like what two people from, already heroes from the Marvel Universe could be, Todoroki's parents, and kind of I wanted to kind of flip it. So obviously in My Hero Academia, the fire comes from the dad, the ice comes from the mom, and so I'm going to flip it a little bit. In this, his dad is Iceman from the X-Men, so that would
Ooh,
automatically make Todoroki a mutant of sorts. And then there was this old character,
I think I know what you're talking about.
there's an old cartoon, Spider-Man and Friends, where, do you know what
Oh,
I'm talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, and so I was thinking, like, what if those two end up hooking up and having a kid? Her name was Firestar.
It's actually perfect because they were on the team together. So I actually like your
Right.
parenting matchup better.
Exactly. And then I like the idea of just giving Todoroki that little bit of teenage angst. He could have went to Xavier's school for mutants, but he's like, no, I don't want to be like my dad. I want to be my own man. And so he decides to go to UA instead and kind of has a little bit of a rebellious streak. And now I know that doesn't really compare to the Todoroki that, that's actually in My Hero Academia because, he has some real deep-seated crap inside of him. But that's kind of what I was thinking for Todoroki. This has been awesome. We should definitely maybe have you on the next episode. This
Hey,
was great, man.
hey, I'm glad to be here. I had fun. I've always wanted to hop on and do this kind of series because I like Marvel.
But thanks again, man.
But
Hey, if you guys haven't checked him out just yet, go check out Jet the Prophet. We got a link down in the description. I'll try to make sure I got a card right up here at the top. And guys, check him out, and we will see you guys next time.